Processing times, processing times, processing times. This is probably one of the biggest questions that we get at our law office. That's why I've created this video for you to help you understand how to interpret processing times, how to keep track of your case after you have filed the case. We're going to talk about what the latest processing times are with the Department of State, and then how to monitor your case throughout the process. Hi, my name is Kaushik Ranchad. I am an immigration attorney representing clients throughout the 50 states, and I've been practicing immigration law for over 20 years. Let's get started to talk about processing times. And this is a big issue, especially because since COVID, everything has slowed way the heck down. Let's talk about how long is it taking for exceptional hardship waivers at the Department of State. So it's taking anywhere from 36 to 52 weeks for the case to be adjudicated. This is after USCIS transfers the case to the Department of State. Department of State is where it is taking the longest. When we file our exceptional hardship waiver cases, if we can file an expedite request, we do, to try to speed that up. And that can take anywhere from 8 to 12 months for USCIS processing. That leads us to the next type of processing time, which is for persecution waivers. Now, persecution waivers, we just got one approved. It took anywhere from around 10 to 12 months overall. And if we can do a persecution waiver, it's advantageous for two reasons. One, because it's much more favorable in terms of overcoming the issue of government funding, US government funding. And then two, it is also much faster than the exceptional hardship waiver case. So let's look at the processing time for a persecution waiver. That is taking anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. And then finally, for the no objection waiver at the Department of State, it's taking 12 to 16 weeks. But I can tell you, I don't think that's what they're posting, but it's taking realistically around 10 months, because when you have your home country involved, and with the home country transferring things to the Department of State, the home countries are also taking a long time, so you have to add that on to the Department of State time. So what we're seeing with home countries involved is anywhere around 10 months. Of course, that depends upon your specific home country. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how do you track your processing of your case. What does that look like? Well, within 4 weeks of delivery, you should receive a USCIS receipt notice in the mail. Once we file your case, USCIS issues the receipt notice, and then that usually comes within a month. It could be a little bit longer than that, but that's typically what we see. So we'll have that receipt notice to be, and with that receipt notice, you can track your filing with USCIS. If you don't receive a receipt notice from USCIS within 4 to 6 weeks, you should let your attorney know. That way we can make sure, if you're a client, to figure out what happened. The USCIS receipt notice is going to contain your USCIS case number. Use that number on this receipt notice to check the status of your case. The way that you do that is go to uscis.gov, click where it says check case status. Now for the Department of State, you insert your case number, and you can check the status of your case with the Department of State at J1 visa waiver status.state.gov. We're going to post that link in the details, and that's where you can check your DOS case status number. So with the Department of State filing, what we do is we file the Department of State application and the USCIS application simultaneously. So when we file that Department of State case filing, you'll have a case number specific to the Department of State. On the USCIS website, you're going to see one of two possible updates. One possibility is that you're going to see an update on the USCIS website which says something to the effect of, on blah 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 date, your case was transferred to another agency for a non-advisory opinion. What does that mean? Don't let that scare you. Such an update means that USCIS made a prima facie finding in your favor, and the case is going to the Department of State. Now you're going to need to start checking the Department of State website above, and within a month you should see the I-613 reflected as received by Department of State. If you don't see an update within a month, if you're a client, please let our office know. So basically what this means is that your case was basically approved by USCIS, and they're going to forward that on to the Department of State to get their opinion on the matter and have their review and their discretionary review on your case, but you've overcome one of the hurdles, which is USCIS. Now, the other option is the issue of a request for evidence. What we're seeing are often boilerplate, and requests for evidence can seem to be random, and we're hoping this isn't going to happen in your case. You can review current processing times for USCIS at egov.uscis.gov/processing-times. We'll post that for you below, so you also have that link. The form type is I-612. The form category is exceptional hardship or persecution, and the service center is California. Now, we can't inquire about your case until your case passes posted processing times. If you're a client, please let us know if your processing time exceeds what's listed without an update on the USCIS website. You can view current processing times for Department of State at the link that's provided in the details. Now, you want to note that Department of State processing times do not begin until the I-613 is received from USCIS. So you can see that there's a number of steps here. First, we have the USCIS filing. Then there's going to be the I-613 recommendation to the Department of State. Then Department of State, that's when those processing times begin. And then you want to start checking on the Department of State website to keep track of what's going on with the specific processing times of your case. Now, these processing times that I've listed are specific to when I've shot this video, which is March 2nd, 2023. These processing times can increase or decrease. And now you know how to check those processing times. So I hope this helps alleviate a little bit of stress for you, helps you have a way to know what's going on with the specific processing times that are always changing. And I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and bye for now.